It's gonna be what, 217s in the rear?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 217s, one on top, one on bottom. Like, I broke a couple bolts loose on like here and there, but this guy like knows like all the techniques. Technically certified, went to college. So what we did on this side is I had a rope, so basically tied it right through here, going down, and then you can just hang the caliper. It's because the rope will go through. We put the bolts in like that. It'll just hold everything where it's supposed to be. That way, when you go to reassemble it, you know what 2 bolts go where. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is crack these 2 loose on the top. That way, when it's off like this over here, it's easy actually just to swap out the arms. So I already broke the left one loose, and then break the right one. Okay, just like that. You can leave the nut on it. Because
Make sure that it's flush, so you don't bend these here.
And then next thing you want to do is, we already did this technically, but you can do this at this step. You take those 4 bolts out at the top, and then you'll be able to...
A lot easier if you take all this off first, though.
Yeah, the bottom stuff. We're going to learn that on the other side. But yeah.
Have a bang bang tool.
Bang bang tool. Now there's 3 methods to reassembling this. The first one is torque spec, of course, and then where there is no torque spec, you can either go by discretion and either go with the German method, which is Gudentight, or with the impact to Ugga Dugga.
Only 2 or 3 Ugga Duggas.
Yeah.
4 is always too much.
Oh man. So just finished this side of the car, and while doing this, we realized like what's the more proper way of doing it, like pretty quickly, because we did the other side, now we're doing this side. Those 4 bolts up there, probably don't touch them until the end. That's last to be touched. This is this arm with this guy going through it, probably second to last. First thing you want to do is the caliper. Hang it somewhere out of the way. Then you want to get your...
Or hang it in the way.
Yeah. You want to get this guy relieved, the tie rod off, and then last guy is going to be this one right here, and then the whole spindle assembly will come off. And then once the spindle assembly is off, you can just take that bolt out, do the 4 at the top, and then this whole thing will come out. Well, actually, because we're reusing this one, we're just going to take the 4 bolts at the top, and then this, because we already undid the bolt, this will just drop out. 14.5 inch. Now, yep, just push a little pressure on that right there, and then this caliper strings go that way.
Sway bar first. Sway bar link.
Alright, and so one thing that we forgot about is actually the sway bar link that's connected to the strut in the back. So we're just going to take that off real quick, and then we can pull this whole assembly out. That was just a little cap that fits on there. Keep reference of where this guy is right here, because this is actually
like alignment mark,
like part of an alignment. So take like a pen or something and mark it like right where it was, like what angle it was, because you got to rotate this and you'll see the nut like rotate, and it's never straight in the center. So for like this front left one, it's like more pointing towards like the driver's light, and then the passenger side, it's going to be pointing towards the passenger headlight. So keep track of that.
Wow.
So anyway, ended up going like to the right side with the swivel. He came over here, and then it's more of like a proper angle to get to it, and then held it with the 3/8 ratchet on this side. Also changing the tie rod. Alright guys, so I'm in the process of compressing the spring, take the strut out. Now, this is the front left, and what you'll notice is that this thing will be attached to the top of that. So what I did is I actually took out those 3 bolts. This is how I'm compressing it. Did the other one with that thing still on it, because when you take it off, it's really stuck on there. So it's going to take some finagling to actually break it loose, because this is, well, mine's an '09, so it's an 11-year-old car. And as you can see, like the grit mark right here, so it's kind of just kind of seized on there for a little bit. So you just gotta tap on it a couple different angles, pull on it from different angles. You can also use like a rubber mallet or something, hit the top of the bolts right here just to put some shock into it to break it loose a little bit. So what I'm about to do now is I'm going to tighten down the compressors, get the spring compressed, and then I can relieve the pressure right here. Make sure you're not in the line of path of this bolt, because if this isn't fully compressed properly, that thing can shoot off and it could hurt you. So just a heads up on that. Alright, so I just finished compressing the spring. As you'll see that this top head up here is now loose. That means that the spring is no longer holding tension up against the top hat. You can go ahead and crack this bolt off, and then take this whole assembly off, and then just transfer it over and you should be good. I used, I believe this is a 19 with an extension, just to be able to get in here a little bit easier, hold it one hand. I'm doing this by myself at the moment, so I just put my feet around that to hold it while I cranked down this side, took it off, moved over to this side, cranked it down. But then once you actually do have it completed, this is that print I did yesterday. As you can see, looking nice and shiny. Gonna have to clean the spring off to look as good as that one, because this one over here is on the grimy side a little bit, really dirty, but it's okay. I'll just probably wash off the power washer and it'll be nice and new again. Alright, so got some things ready to go back on. Springs cleaned up nicely, new strut, got the strut bellow and the bushing inside there already on. Went ahead and put these new arms on. Went pretty straightforward, used a little bit of Loctite on these bolts just in case.
Wow.